Welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to go through 3 of my favorite mock scrape setups. If you're like me, when you're watching a video like this, you're thinking, well, I pretty much know what's going on here, but what I'm looking for is an idea, a spark, something for that light to go on in my head, something that I can apply to my hunting situation. I hope you can find that in this video. One of my favorite setups is right here by this pond. And the question is, what makes this so good? This spot is secure. If you look to the north, that's sanctuary bedding area. If you look to the east, that is more sanctuary bedding area. If you look to the south, that's sort of a transitional area where a lot of does like to bed. If you look to the west, up the hill, you can see there's a small central food plot. This pond is nestled in a little depression between 2 higher pieces of land. I think that a key feature here is that this pond dike is acting as something of a saddle, similar to what you might experience in mountainous terrain. The bucks love to cruise across it as they go from one piece of cover to the other. I have this pond dike planted in clover and in chicory. Does, fawns, it's continually being used. The licking branch is constantly being visited by deer of all ages. These bucks are going to very naturally move between cover to cover, and they're going to visit this small area of social activity. There's food, there's water, and there is a licking branch. The licking branch is out there. You can't actually reach it with the bow. I'm now in a tree stand in the woods near this spot. Deer will pass through here all the time, coming down this green swath and coming right underneath here as they go around the pond. I have set up a secondary mock scrape in this area right here. As these bucks cross this pond dike, they have great security because they can see across the pond, and also from this spot they have a tremendous vantage point to look down into the woods. So you have all 3 elements. There's a lot of deer using this area. It's very, very secure both regionally and intimately. It's right on a natural travel route. It's got water, it's got food, it's got everything. The really cool thing is deer can just pop out from any direction at any time. The second spot I'd like to talk about is quite different. It is just a small opening in the middle of an alder swamp. It's a little bit of raised ground. The most distinctive feature about this setup is the long licking branch that I made years and years ago from a single small ash tree. The neat thing about this is that this has stayed there forever. The ash tree keeps growing even as they eat the end off, and it's become a generational spot. The deer know this spot. They'll use that licking branch all year round. Looking at the map, we can see it's a small cleared area, maybe about 1/10 of an acre, right in the middle of an alder swamp. During the summer, I let it grow up in canary grass, and then I'll come back in, say, late August and September and weed whack it down. Some years I put rye and clover in here, but most of the time now I'm just letting it grow. I've noticed that the canary grass, as it grows up young and tender, is very appealing to the deer. I know that when I first clear it, the fawns just think it's the neatest thing and they come running around in it. And I also believe that bachelor groups of bucks are kind of attracted to the smell of mown grass, and they'll come in and just check out the new situation. I get some of my best video from this very spot. The bucks tend to come from that far end, come in and curl around this way. During the gun season, deer don't like to come out here very much. They will skirt around the edges. Interestingly enough, while there is a stand here close by, we have never harvested a deer off of this plot. But there are stands in the area where we have. On this setup, I have both made scrapes and not made scrapes, and I don't think it makes any difference because they come in here for that branch, and then when they're fired up, they make the scrape for me. This spot is about as surefire as you can imagine. The weakness is that it's a little bit inaccessible, but some things you just can't change. The last spot I'd like to show you is up this way down this trail. It sits at the end of this strange little ridge that runs through the swamp. Deer run up and down here all the time. Looking at the map, you can see that this site is positioned around a very typical L-shaped corner that we have many places in the Midwest. Now, interesting thing about it is that during most of the season, there is nothing here. There's no point in being here. I put cameras up here all summer, and there's just nothing. But when the rut kicks in, wow, does this corner become hot. Bucks are always coming around the bend, and so I put in a clearing here and a mock scrape to kind of take advantage of that motion. This spot has something of a conversion of transition lines. Now, it's not a wide open space. It's just sort of a clearing amongst the alders. And I go in there sometimes with a weed whacker and enhance that. So what do you think? Do you think a whitetail would come and mess with this branch at all? I think he would. We're making a nice clearing here in this swamp. This tree is about the right height. It's a little bit high. I'm going to pull it down. You can see here I have a rope tied to this tree branch. I'm going to use the weed eater to open up a little spot of dirt here right below the limb. And no, I'm not really worried about scent control at all right now. We're far enough ahead of the season. Actually, I've done this before, and within a day or so I've had bucks hitting it. You probably have spots like this yourself where you can take advantage of these bucks when they start moving in a different pattern when they go into the search. We do have a stand overlooking this site, and we have taken deer from here. There's going to be a lot of bucks that check this out, and some of them will be big. Well, hopefully looking at these 3 sites is giving you some insight as to what you might want to do. The whole idea here is to set these up in a very, from a deer's perspective, very reasonable and natural sightings. Good luck hunting to you. I hope you do well, and thank you for watching.